So now I'm going to share a little bit about how I prepared for my FRR surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome. So in my previous video, I shared just a little bit about the diagnosis process and just my tips with that and what my story was, and everyone has their own story. But again, it's just helpful, I think, to hear other people's stories, and there's not a lot of people that have TOS or have this surgery, so hopefully that it helps you out a little bit. But so yeah, about my preparation for surgery. So I had just had a shoulder surgery like the year before, and that was great in the way that it got me a lot of supplies and tips for handling surgery and post-surgery, and it actually really helped me going into the surgery, with telling them like what medications worked well for me and what didn't. So that really helped me, first of all. But going into the surgery, I first of all tried to get things that would maybe help me like post-surgery. And you can't prepare for everything, but preparing sometimes, it's good for a lot of reasons, and one of them is it kind of takes your mind off what you're gonna do. So you're like, oh, I'm not thinking about the surgery because I'm just thinking about stocking my kitchen up and doing all those things. So one tip I would have would be, don't buy a lot of food before the surgery, which sounds weird why you wouldn't do that. But the only reason I would say that is because you don't know what you're gonna be like have aversions to, and so you don't want to like buy a ton of food and then waste it, because pain meds and things mess with your appetite. I'm just gonna say that, and you eat weird things. So don't buy a ton of food. I mean, buy like a little bit of like bland food, maybe safe, crackers or something, but don't stock up too much on the food, because chances are like the things you're gonna want to eat after surgery are totally different than the things you like normally eat or bought. So yeah, just a little tip here. Another tip, so I actually found this on the support group, but if you don't have a recliner, I don't have a recliner in my house. If you can rent one, you can rent one at like the rent-a-furniture places, So I rented a recliner that had cup holders, which was like amazing. Like I was obsessed with that thing. Like I almost wanted to keep it. Like this takes over my whole living room. This does not go with anything, but I love this thing. So that is something I would recommend. I rented it for a month, and it was great because I could rest in it, watch TV, fall asleep sometimes. I don't think I ever stay the night out there actually on the recliner, but I could, if I wanted to. It's just more comfortable, to have your feet up, have your ice. What I did do for sleeping, so I bought myself a pregnancy pillow. I got one of those like U pillows, and that was really good because, it keeps you like, inside the pillows, and you're not like rolling around everywhere, and you can like sleep on your side more comfortable and stuff. So I bought that. I got a lot of things like ready with my clothes and stuff like that. So I put out like all my strapless shirts and stretchy shorts and things that were really easy to put on. So if you can just like get those clothes out really accessible, that's gonna be a lot better than trying to find that with like one arm. I mean, and you can use your surgery arm okay, but I was not that strong. Like I really struggle, and you really can't lift it like up very much just because you're like really weak. So yeah, just get that stuff out if you can. Just try to like get your house ready. That was probably like the biggest things that I did around the house. And then another thing I got was a lap desk that I could either bring to work or be at home using, because this is something that I did not expect after surgery, was that like lifting my arm to put on a desk and use a mouse was exhausting, like so hard. So if I had the lap desk, I could like rest my arm on it and I'm literally just like moving my hand. Like it wasn't like I was lifting my whole arm to like use the mouse. So I got that. Yeah, and I already had like a ice cube from when I did my shoulder surgery, so you know, I got that out, stocked my freezer with ice for that. You don't know how long you're gonna be in the hospital, so you know, I packed a robe, I packed a few like, you know, comfy like PJ outfits, toiletries, but you just don't know how long you're going to be in the hospital. You can be in there for 2-3 days, you can be there for a week. So, you know, if people are visiting you, my mom drove me back, and she stayed in a hotel that was like close to the hospital, and you know, she only booked for a few nights, but if we need to extend it, like she could have extended it, because you just don't know how long you're gonna be there. So just make sure, like with work or with family or whoever needs to know, they know that there's kind of a little bit of variability of how long you could be there, just because you might have lung stuff going on after the surgery. You might not be taking like the oral pain meds for a while if you're kind of struggling a little bit. So those are just some of the things to kind of be aware of, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think those were really the biggest things. I mean, obviously prepare with your work, prepare with your family, like you know, let everyone know what's going on and what help you're gonna need. If people can bring over meals afterward, or just come over and like hang out with you and stuff like that, you know. And I think this is something that, you know, I would just recommend too, is just trying to mentally prepare and just rest, and kind of like, you know, if you pray or meditate or whatever you do, like, you know, just spend time before the surgery doing that, and getting into a place that you're positive, you know, you're not scared, you're not anxious, you're not discouraged, like, and those are all things that are very natural to feel. But, you know, I really went into this surgery feeling, you know, confident, and just knowing like, this is what I'm gonna do, it's gonna be okay, you know, this is gonna be a good thing in my life. And so if you can like come into it with a really positive attitude, that's another thing, because surgery's not fun, like it's not. Newsflash, it's not fun. But, you know, if you can go into it with a smile on your face and a song in your heart, like, you're gonna come out a lot better. So, you know, that's what I recommend. Like, you know, go in, just, you can do this. It's scary, it's gonna be hard, but you can do it, you know, you're strong. So there's a little pep talk there. But yeah, so that was a little bit about the preparation for the surgery. And in my next video, I'm going to be sharing about the surgery itself, my hospital visit, and then coming home from the hospital.